Good afternoon. I'm Westchester County Executive George Latimer, and welcome to the Tarrytown, Sleepy Hollow area, where we are dedicating the renovation of this historic lighthouse behind us. This has long been a symbol of both the Hudson River and this region, and we're very happy that we've been able to complete a long necessary project and bring this lighthouse back to its former glory. I'm joined here, and you'll hear from them in a second, by Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins, the Chair of the Board of Legislators, Vedat Gashi. We also have Legislator Jewel Williams-Johnson, who represents this area, who is with us here. Our Commissioner for the County Department of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation, Kathy O'Connor. We have with us the Sleepy Hollow Mayor, Martin Rutnya, and we have some other folks we're going to call upon to share a few words on this terrific day. We have representatives of the Tarrytown Sleepy Hollow Chamber of Commerce here. We have people from the various historical societies who have been committed to this project for a long period of time, and we're happy that this day has come. Unfortunately, we're not joined by County Legislator Margaret Kunzio, who could not be with us here. Last minute a conflict in her schedule arose, but she's here in spirit, and I'm sure she'll be back here along with all of us to enjoy this environment in the days to come. Let me call upon John Phillips, who's the curator of the Tarrytown Lighthouse here in Sleepy Hollow, to ring the bell to get us started. Yay. Yay. A little bit of background, I think that will be helpful for all of us to know. We are in Kingsland Point Park, which is a Westchester County-owned park, but we operate it cooperatively with the village of Sleepy Hollow. This is a $3.4 million capital project. This is a 2-year project, 10 years in the making, and perhaps even longer for the inside of people that wanted to see us get to this day. This project restored the lighthouse to its original and most authentic rendition, which is the time period between 1937 and 1976, when it was still in active service and its physical exterior was what it appears to be now. Work on the lighthouse included exterior repairs and repainting, addressing caisson cracks, window and door replacement, sounds like the things that are on my grocery list at home, cleaning and repointing of the foundation masonry, refurbishing of the interior plaster and painting finishes, restoring the wood floors, reconstruction of the intermediate landing between the bridge and gangway, a new security gate on the mainland, and new electric exterior lighting. I think that's a pretty good deal for $3.4 million. Now, this event ties into the 150th anniversary for the village of Sleepy Hollow. Mayor Rutner, who's going to speak in a few minutes, will talk about the many things that Sleepy Hollow will be doing to celebrate that 150th anniversary. We're glad that this signature element of that effort is in place, and I know Natasha Caputo, who heads our tourism and film industry, is very happy to have this symbol back again, because it is one of the feature things that we talk about when we talk about Westchester. We've had a lot of projects over the last number of years. Kathy O'Connor gave us a list when we came in, along with Peter Tartaglia and Jason Klein, and whether it was the Sprain Ridge Pools down in Yonkers, the historic Washington headquarters Miller House in North Castle, the North and the South County trailways that stretch from the Putnam border down to the Bronx border along the west side of the county, improvements we've made on a couple of golf holes at Maplemore, project after project after project. We've been committed to making improvements in the historic assets of Westchester County. The trendy word is infrastructure, and that can mean anything. Generally, people attribute it to roads and bridges that have to be constructed, and that's part of it too, with the Glen Island Bridge reconstruction project that we're going to launch off on. But this executive branch and this Board of Legislators have been committed to doing what was long ignored, which is bringing our system back up to the level that it should be at. Now, nothing lasts forever. There will be a day at some point in the future, 20 years, could be 30 years, in which future leaders will be here to talk about another renovation of this facility, because nothing lasts forever. I don't know that I'm going to last 20 or 30 years, but this building will last 20 or 30 years in its current construct, and we think that's the right way to look at our assets. And that includes not only Parks assets, but assets like the New Rochelle Family Court, which is placed in a different location, more convenient location in New Rochelle that we invested money in. We want to project our thanks to the Sleepy Hollow Village and all of those folks who've been involved in the Sleepy Hollow Village and the administration of the government, the elected officials, for all of their work in making this day happen. We want to thank those in the town of Mount Pleasant and Carl Fulgenzi, who is the supervisor of that town. And we want to thank our friends in the village of Tarrytown. As I said, I don't exactly know where the dotted line is between the two communities. The two communities are probably as joined together in cooperative effort as any two communities in Westchester are. But the bottom line is it takes both of these two communities, and they both have been willing partners in the county to work with them. We want to extend our thanks to Mace Contracting, the general contractor on the project, along with their electrical subcontractor, D&M Mechanical, and Custom Marines. We want to send a thank you to our construction coordinator, Paul Rienzi, and to the Westchester County architect, Adam Kaplinski. We want to send thank you as well to our design consultant, Stephen Tilley Architects, Jonathan Walco, and Stephen Tilley for all of their professional work. And in the Westchester County Parks Department, we owe a debt of gratitude to our planners, Rob Lopane and David DeLucia, and of course to Commissioner O'Connor, First Deputy Commissioner Peter Tartaglia. As they say, victory has 1,000 fathers and mothers. We won't talk about the other alternative. What we have, though, is an understanding that once we make the commitment to do something, we intend to implement it. And when we have a game plan and the Board of Legislators agrees with that game plan and we allocate money to do these things and the Parks Board signs off on it, Henry Neal is here with the Parks Board. We may have other Parks Board members as well who are here. We move forward on it. And whatever you talk about generically in infrastructure, this is the physical manifestation of that commitment, and one example of all of that. I'm going to invite a few speakers to come up and share their thoughts. The first is Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins. Ken is involved intimately in every single public policy decision that's made in this county, and I appreciate his leadership and his partnership in all of these things. Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins.
Wow. So today is such a fantastic day. County Executive Latimer talked about the investment that was made, but the truth is, without George Latimer's leadership, right when we came in as a team in 2018 and looked at that long list of projects that were either dormant or had not been accomplished, I had the privilege when I was on the Board of Legislators to have Parks, Labor, and Public Works as part of the first committee that I got when I got elected in 2007. And I was here in this building when it was dark, Mayor. It was dark, it was dank, the windows, there was leaks going on, and there were students here that would come in here to learn about the river, and that's why it's great work with the combination with Parks, Recreation, and Conservation. People forget about the conservation part. Tal's looking at us with the PRC and Commissioner and First Deputy, that this was the kind of investment that was necessary. So out of the $1.3 billion worth of projects in the 5-year plan that the county had, this is another example of that level of investment. And as County Executive Latimer talked about, whether it was Miller House, whether it was this Lighthouse, whether it's the Riverwalk, things that we have going on just on this side of the river, and so many other things for Westchester County. $150 million up in Playland Park. It's all of our county resources, and George Latimer from the very beginning made sure our entire team had the installation in our minds that it is not our property to mess around. What we do is the legacy we leave to others to make sure that our job is to make sure that it continues on in the investments, as County Executive pointed out. So again, this is a great day. It's great being here with Mayor Rutner and the entire team from Sleepy Hollow and everyone that's working together, because this is a great resource. The Hudson's a great resource for everyone, and it's a great day for Westchester County. Back to you, George.
Thank you. Next up, I'm going to invite Chair of the Westchester County Board of Legislators, Vedad Gashi, to speak. And while he is at the podium, his colleague who represents this area, Legislator Jewel Williams-Johnson, can join him at the podium and share some thoughts after the chairman shares his thoughts. Mr. Chairman, Madam Legislator.
Sure. Thank you, County Executive Latimer. You know, usually when we're talking about infrastructure projects, it's going to be a sewer project or a road, and it's not always as exciting and engaging as something like this. But occasionally, on the rare occasion that we get to deal with something like a lighthouse, it's a real privilege. This is, as was mentioned, this is something that is part of our heritage, part of our history here in Westchester, and it's actually an asset that had been ignored and set aside for way too long. I congratulate County Executive Latimer and Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins for the leadership, and of course Commissioner O'Connor and Pete Tartaglia and the whole team. It really is a team working together, and I think we're all better off for it. You don't have to go to Maine to take a picture of a lighthouse anymore. You can come right here, and we're lucky to have it. Thank you so much. Jewel?
What he said. I just want to echo everything that's been said so far and really thank absolutely everyone that's been involved. This stretch of the waterfront is very important to the community, as you've heard, and all the effort that was poured into this renovation and rehabilitation coming to fruition means everything to the community. So I will take the honor to speak on behalf of both legislator Margaret Kunzio and myself as representatives of this area to extend a wholehearted gratefulness to everyone involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Now, before I invite the commissioner to come up and speak, I saw a friend of mine who was in the line as I was walking up, Ed Cook, who is one of the leaders of the Council of Carpenters in this area. He is exemplary of the kind of quality labor that we get in all different areas when we do these projects with PLAs. And Ed knows what I never learned about the actual work that gets done by talented people who are skilled. So, Ed, please share a couple of your thoughts, and then we'll go to the commissioner.
On behalf of the 30,000 local area tradesmen and women in Westchester County and Putnam County, I'd like to thank and commend Westchester County government for actually getting work done. They have a professional staff. They work towards local people, local hire. They hire professional contractors, and they make sure with their staff that the job gets done correctly. Under the Latimer administration, we've had more good infrastructure in the parks and on the bridges than we've seen in recent years. With that comes tremendous management. His team, with Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins, is exemplary. And I'm not an elected, so I'm telling you like it is. You know, when it works, it works. So it works in Westchester. They strive to put good contractors and local people to work and make sure the work is done quality. And this lighthouse is absolutely beautiful. So thank you on behalf of the building tradesmen and the men and women of Westchester and Putnam counties. Thank you. And this was a beautiful project, and we're excited for it, and come visit it. Thank you very much.
When I had the opportunity to come into this office in 2018, I came in the change of administrations, and I had an option that most newly elected officials do, which is to assess the senior management of the county as it existed. And many times what happens, particularly if there's a change in party, there's a mass execution of people who are in office. It happens so routinely that people just expect it to be the case. Because I have a background in business that precedes my time in government, I don't have that philosophy. I've learned and was taught to look for talent wherever it may exist. And much of the talent to run this county government existed in those commissioners who were already in office as I inherited them. Dr. Charlita Amler, head of the Health Department. Rocco Posey, head of Probation. Vin Kapicki, head of Department of Environmental Facilities. Michael Orth in Department of Community Mental Health, and on and on. One of those existing commissioners is a woman who her whole life has been about recreation, and it comes as a family tradition from her dad, who is a well-known leader in the recreation department in the municipal government level here in Westchester County, and some of her siblings who also found their career. Kathy O'Connor has devoted her life to parks, recreation, and conservation. And as commissioner of these 6.5 years, I'm appreciative that she stayed on with us. She could have gone to greener pastures, but she stayed right here in Westchester County. And Kathy, we give you yet one more asset in better condition than we found it. Kathy.
Thank you very much, County Executive Latimer. I am very glad that County Executive Latimer had that philosophy because I'm still here. Peter and I have worked for the county for a really long time, and a lot of people have said the same thing that I'm going to say now, but I really think it's important to say. In the last almost 7 years, we have been able to do more in infrastructure and sexy projects like the one behind me than was done in the last 2 decades. And that's because of his commitment, County Executive Latimer, Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins, and certainly we're working with the Board of Legislators, Vidat Gashi. I saw him the other day out on the North County Trail. So this is a crew that really believes in what we do and why we do it. And the fact that the support has been so strong for what we're doing and what we're trying to fix and go forward, it's just been remarkable. Being here at the Lighthouse, I have to tell you, I've been here long enough that actually somebody that was a curator for us actually lived in the Lighthouse probably 30 years ago. He was colorful. You kind of have to be colorful to live in the Lighthouse, although it's looking really good and I might like to be there too. But anyway, that's how long we've been here. But I wanted to just say a special thank you. Peter Tartaglia, First Deputy, has taken on the capital projects since actually 6.5 years ago, and he's done a fabulous job. We really redid an awful lot, and we have a lot more going. But as I said, we have tremendous support from the county executive and the Board of Legislators. I also want to highlight our Director of Conservation, Mr. Jason Klein. I don't know where he is. Hiding in the crowd. We are Parks, Recreation, and Conservation, and a lot of times people forget about the conservation factor in our department. It is hugely important. We so believe in how important, especially during the pandemic, we were getting comments from the public saying, "Thank you. I went and walked at Kensico. I had 6 masks on, but I went and walked in Kensico, or I walked at Cranberry Lake, or I was on a golf course." They said it made them feel a little more normal, and you can't put a price on that. So we never closed during the pandemic. We worked closely with the administration and the Board of Legislators to keep things up and running, and we did, and it was certainly successful. Jason Klein is the director, but I also want to mention, life has a funny way. John Phillips has worked for the county for many years in an hourly capacity at Croton Point Park, running their nature center. When we knew that we were going to be taking this over, he was a natural, and we talked to him, and he now has a full-time job with the county Parks Department, Parks and Recreation Conservation, and we were laughing, saying he basically could take a boat up and down, from Croton to Kingsland and back up. But what he comes with is an extensive knowledge of not only the Hudson River, but this lighthouse as well as Croton. So we are thrilled to have him on board, and I think this is just going to be such a home run. So thank you to everybody, everyone that has helped put this together, and we look forward to doing tours, etc., when we're finally finished. We're not completely done. Still, electrical has to be discussed, a couple of other things, but it's here. It looks beautiful, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Kathy O'Connor. We're very proud of the leadership that you, Peter, and the rest of the team have shown in Parks and Recreation. We're very proud of all of our departments. I'm very proud of our Department of Public Safety. Look at our Navy out there. Take that, Rockland. When I was, many years ago, my first public office, elected office, was as a councilman in my home community in Rice City. And I've often told the story, some have heard it before, about, and I was working full-time in my corporate career, but I had to be present for a meeting that we were going to have at the county office building on behalf of some issue that mattered to us in the city. I've forgotten the issue now. And as I met with a couple of other councilmen and we were going to drive over to White Plains together, I didn't know if the meeting was going to be at City Hall in Rye or was elsewhere. And I said, "Where are we meeting?" He says, "We're going up to the Palace of Pain," which meant 148 Martine Avenue, where the county office is. Because the perception was, at that moment in time, whatever we needed as a local government, we would hear the word no when we got to the county office building, that their corporate interest was going to be different from ours. That's actually how that meeting turned out. And I had no envisionment on that day that I would someday be county executive. But I knew when I did become county executive, I didn't want that kind of relationship. I wanted us, with the 45 communities, to have as good a relationship as is possible. Sometimes there's conflict. It happens in families, much less between governmental entities. But it doesn't have to be structurally that way. The 20 villages, the 19 towns, and the 6 cities serve the same people that we serve in the county government, and there has got to be a way for us to find common ground. And that's what we're trying to do right now with Kingsland Point, which is a beautiful asset. It's physically here in Sleepy Hollow. It's right next door to Tarrytown, and we look to the village of Sleepy Hollow as a partner and a friend. And this is part of what that is. So I'd ask the Mayor, Martin Rutner, to share his thoughts on this day. Mr. Mayor, we hope we've added to the park to the benefit of you and all of your residents.
Thank you, sir. You know, it's everyone looked out this morning. I was wondering if we're going to have this event. So if you look on the sunny blue skies, the pristine shores of the Hudson River, it's a beautiful day to live in Westchester. An even better day to be in Sleepy Hollow. Thank you to the leadership of the County Executive George Latimer, Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins, the entire Board of Legislators. We couldn't do this without you. We couldn't have such a beautiful historic monument so well preserved. And don't let them forget, they're downselling what they do in our village. They just put millions of dollars into Kingsland Point Park, renovating the storm walls, improving the access, and making that another gem on the Hudson that we as a village have known about for many, many years. This iconic landmark behind you, if you didn't realize, has been holding quiet and constant vigils since 1883. It's been a part of our village, originally North Tarrytown, now Sleepy Hollow, who this year is getting the chance and the opportunity to celebrate our 150th anniversary. And before I get into what we're doing for our anniversary, I want to take 1 second. We, as a village, we have many of our employees, but on this project, Superintendent Matarone, head of Parks and Recreation, has been meeting at this event every week with Mace, with everyone else, and making sure that everything is there, everything's put together, helping, coordinating, and has been a constant value. So thank you, Matt. This rededication is 150 years for the village of Sleepy Hollow. Originally North Tarrytown. If you're a part of North Tarrytown, don't forget, we didn't forget about that. We just changed the name to what it was originally back then. When I hear about it, when we were originally looking at original law books and other things in our village, we found out that it was originally always known as Sleepy Hollow. It's not just a legend, it is our area. It's our heritage and our history. And we want to take a second to make sure we understand that. So this year, we're not celebrating one weekend, we're not celebrating one event. We've been doing constant events all year long. Every single month we do it. We just held a historic car show on the banks of the Hudson River last weekend. We were able to do ice skating. We're doing St. Patrick's Day parades. And into the future, we're going to be doing a music festival on June 8th. And everyone should come, enjoy the beautiful area, what it's made us all available to do, and events will continue all year long in celebration of this historic event for us in the future. So as we look forward to the preserve and this iconic recreational and historic monument, we say thank you again to everyone who made this possible, and the opportunity for all those who live or visit in Sleepy Hollow or Tarrytown to walk all the way from the bridge all the way up through what has never been accessible for over 100 years along the river and enjoy the river walk that we share with the Hudson. So thank you.
Well, we're going to get ready and cut the ribbon in a second. I'll just give a couple closing thoughts for this moment in time. I grew up in Westchester County. Many people have heard this story more than they want to hear it again. But I grew up in a different part of this county, about as far away from we are as we could be and still be in Westchester, down on the southern border with the Bronx on the south side of Mount Vernon. When I was a 10-year-old boy, 60 years ago, I had no idea of what Westchester County park system was. I knew that there was a pool at Wilson Woods in Mount Vernon, and it was a hot day. We could walk across town and jump in the pool along with a bunch of other kids in Mount Vernon. At that point in time, the bus system was not the Beeline bus system. They were separate individual bus companies, and I'd hit my mother up for the money, and if she had it, great. If she didn't, start hoofing it. And it was kind of a long walk from living on the border of Yonkers to walk all the way over to Wilson Woods. When we could go to Glen Island, if Dad would throw us in the back of the car, that would be a particularly special thing, but that wasn't something that happened every day. But there were kids growing up in the same room that I grew up in on South 14th Avenue today, and they too want to have the access to pools and beaches. They too want to have the access to special recreational opportunities, whether it's walking through a nature center at some level and you're playing golf on a public golf course. And those kids aren't just in Mount Vernon. They're here in Sleepy Hollow, in Tarrytown, in Ossining, in Yonkers, in Port Chester, in Mount Kisco, all across this county. So it's a long way from being a 10-year-old boy. Now, as a grown man, I've been given this opportunity for a limited period of time. These jobs do not last forever. And when the time comes where someone else stands at this podium as the county executive, that's what democracy should be about. But while we have the opportunity, while we have the will, it's essential that we do these things. There is doubt in this country today in so many people's minds about whether government works, whether democracy works, whether everybody who holds a public office or even those in a point of office, whether they really care about the end result. So it's essential for us when we tackle these things to complete them, to complete Memorial Field, to complete the New Rochelle Family Court, to fix these things so that people know that somebody in a position of authority cares, knows how to accomplish something at the end of the day. And they don't go past this lighthouse and they say, that must have been pretty nice in its day. They can look at it and say, this is what it was, and it is that again. And that means that somewhere somebody understood, knew what to do. The talented people who did the actual work are the people who we praise, the people who figured out the financing, we praise, the people who did the architectural drawings and work, we praise that, and the people who have to manage it day to day, we praise that. It takes all of us together, not one person, not one leader, all of us together. And if that isn't the story of democracy, then I don't know what is. So we're here today. Let's go cut a ribbon, get this place back into business, and let's find something else we're going to fix.